Good morning to you all. Welcome back to this Thursday edition of the Namaste Experience. So, there are a lot of things to celebrate today. In fact, before we even get started, I'm going to bring Vicky on because she had some really exciting news to share with us before the session started. Vicky, do you want to tell us a little bit about what's going on in September?
I would. I'm looking to see if Alan is in the room because oh, there he is. Alan, let's
Alan,
hear.
unmute so both of you can share.
I'm
So,
unmuted.
okay, so Alan, I'll just start. But Alan was gifted with a huge experience last night. John Monday had an inspiration and to do a big festival to celebrate all past, that we're all walking home together, that we are all one. But he just got it that it was music and celebration and everything works because we're all going the same place. So we've been working on a flyer on a name. We are one, walking together, this and that. Last night I texted Alan and just back and forth, back and forth. Bam, Alan's a pro. This came through. Go ahead, Alan.
The event is at Stony Point, New York, which is at the foothills of the Catskills. And it's a music and miracles event celebrating ACOL, ACIM, the Direct Way, AA, whatever takes us home. And so we came up with the name Lovestock Music and Miracles Festival. And I was like, wow, that must have been used a lot. It's actually only been used three times for tiny little concerts in Croatia, Alabama, and Ireland, and the URL was available, and so we now are all going to celebrate the Lovestock Music and Miracles Festival on September 4th through the 7th, which is just 30 in Stony Point Center, which is a beautiful retreat center, just 30 miles from New York City, so easily accessible. You go for it, Vicky. Music, dance, pajama party, wonderful, respected, admired wisdom teachers, go else, dancing, communal singing, but really about joy and fun and peace and love needed more than ever. Go ahead, Vicky.
So essentially, what I keep getting is Jesus talks about this celestial speed up. This is what it looks like today in our experience. And we are the bringers of it as we open to a full give and pay attention to let go of every resentment, every judgment we've ever had, and live in the give and in the joy. So, this is a platform that's an open space for everyone to give of what they've got. So, there will be all those things that Alan mentioned and more. We're just getting the little pieces of it as we go along. But we are that festival division. Jesus is the host of the party. He's sure to be there. And we're all part of that festival division right out of JC Central. Thank you, Brother John.
Wow, that's
Thank you, Alan.
exciting.
It's the most
Thank you,
exciting.
Alan. Thanks to Vicky. Thanks to all of you, and thanks to John Monday. We got
Yeah.
to get John back in our session someday. He used to
Oh,
he
yeah.
used to he used to join us every Monday.
Yeah.
Monday. That was a great time. So thanks to both of you. Yes, this is exciting news to live in the give, as Vicky said so beautifully, to live in that place that only gives. And because this is all a beautiful divine circle, that which we give, we receive. It can't reverse, it can only go forward. It is in the giving that we receive. It is in the loving that we are loved. Maybe I'll break into the prayer of St. Francis one of these days here, but we have other things to do first. So thank you for that announcement. That's very exciting. So this morning, I want to share a little something that is going to bring one of our other wonderful people, teachers, dear sisters, into the divine mix, and that is going to be our dear Reverend Penny Honey. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Oh, look at there. There she is. Hold on. Let me make this a little bit bigger. So this is some, there she is making a puzzle, putting all the puzzle pieces together. And this is something that she has likely said or certainly could say. We are not broken beings trying to become whole. This is the fallacy, the illusion, what we've been taught, what we've been told. But that's not what we are. We are whole beings learning to stop pretending that we're broken. How simple is that? The world, perception, everything that we think we see tells us that we're broken, that we need to be healed, that we need to be put back together, just like a puzzle. But now we're coming into a direct experience that we are whole, that the whole universe is contained within us. If we would just relax, and even if all of the puzzle pieces haven't been put back together yet, we can still, in our mind, in our hearts, we can see the whole picture. You see, the ego tells us that, no, we got to have every puzzle piece in the exact right place. Only then can we see what the picture is. No, we know what the picture is. The picture is divine love. The picture is total cooperation in spirit, in grace. And so here's a good picture of that with Penny Honey putting together, but she can see, she sees the puzzle altogether complete even before all of the puzzle's pieces seem to be in place. So once again, we are not broken beings trying to become whole. We are whole beings learning to stop pretending that we are broken. Okay, so the next part of this is conquering another one of the ego beliefs. The ego likes to believe that experiencing this is like learning how to ride a unicycle in the snow. That's basically what the ego wants us to believe, that it's impossible. You can't do it. I mean, I've never ridden a unicycle. I'm sure if I had a lot of practice, I could probably learn, but on a snowy street. But there is Penny Honey. Everyone's clapping and cheering her on, and she just gets on that unicycle like it's nothing. And then she says to everyone, wholeness is not something we earn. It's what remains when we stop believing the story of separation. Are you able to realize that separation really is just a story that we tell ourselves? And we've gotten so good at it. It's so believable, like a great movie that we watch in the theater. It's so good that we lose ourselves. Have you ever watched a movie where you lost yourself? Where you forgot the you that's sitting there watching, and you were so wrapped up in the drama or the comedy or whatever it is that you were there on the screen. You were right there experiencing everything with the other characters, or at least that's how it felt. And this is how this feels. It feels like we're in this story, the story of separation. But the truth is, riding a unicycle, it doesn't matter where, the snow, on the sand, it's easy because what is a unicycle? It's one. It's one wheel. And riding on that experience of one is the simplest, easiest thing we could ever do. The mind was taught to see itself as divided, divided from love, from God, from one another. And here's the most important, from its own innocence. The mind has taught us that we are divided from our own innocence. And then it spends a lifetime trying to repair what was never broken. I'm sure we could all relate to that. We're always trying to repair. But now you're coming into a direct experience that that which you were trying to prepare was never broken at all. And when that story gently loosens its grip, nothing has to be added. Nothing needs to be achieved or perfected. We simply recognize that the ground beneath us has always been whole, even though it's sometimes a little slippery. I'm looking outside here right now in Chicago. The sun is beginning to shine. It's still cold out, but even when it's cold, that sun has the ability to melt that slippery ice, and we can walk or ride a unicycle with complete ease. Once again, we recognize that the ground beneath us has always been whole and that we have been standing on it all along. We've always stood upon holy and sacred ground. Okay, let's move on. I love this picture. Here we are in a poker game. You can see Penny Honey, Vicky. For some reason, I'm wearing a tuxedo. I have no idea why. But let's use the poker analogy now. In poker, we often believe that our worth depends upon the hand that we're dealt or the chips that we hold. That's how a poker game works. If you're dealt a good hand, then you have a good chance of winning. But if you weren't, you may as well fold. But the truth is, our place at the table was never in question. Only our story about it was. Our story that we bring to the table. When we stop believing that we're separate from the game, that we're unlucky or that we're somehow behind, no matter how many chips we have in front of us, we can relax into presence and clarity. Wholeness is not in the cards that we win, but it's in remembering that we were never outside the game to begin with. We were never outside the game to begin with. Doesn't matter how many chips are in front of you, doesn't matter what hand you were dealt. It's just a game. I have friends who play poker and they get so into it that if they lose a hand, you can see them clenching their teeth. I also have another friend back in Ashland. That's where I usually like to play poker. Neil Donald Walsh is often in the game, and his kids, and if you want to see someone like Neil Donald Walsh, not be the Conversations with God guy, just get him in a poker game. It's pretty funny. But there's another guy who is often in the game. We call him Robert All In because every hand he's all in. And we sometimes think, Robert, this is a terrible strategy in playing poker because if you win, you win a lot. If you lose it all. But he doesn't care because it's just a game. And if he loses his chips, he just buys back in. He just buys another bunch of chips. And this is a good example for us. Let's all live all in. I'm all in on love. I'm all in sharing grace and holiness and peace. Give everything, give all to all. And when we give all to all is received. It comes right back to us. So I love making these little slideshows. I've done Vicky now, me, and now I've done Penny Honey. So be careful because I may very well do one of you guys in the Zoom room or at Namaste. We'll see. But I want to turn first to Penny Honey since she was the subject of today's slideshow and see what she has to say about wearing a unicycle in the snow.
I had no idea that photograph on the unicycle was still around. How fun, yeah? Just to poke a little fun at ourselves, and because sometimes I think we take ourselves a little too seriously. And puzzles, that I got to tell you, that's probably my least favorite thing to do is to build a puzzle. However, I recognize that the business that I was in for 20 years, it was all about puzzles, right? It started out as a dirt lot and it ended up being a 40-story building. It's all a puzzle and very puzzling at times, isn't it? But this is the thing that we have to remember about a puzzle. The picture in its wholeness, in its completeness, arrived first. The puzzle wasn't possible without the whole picture already being intact. The picture that I would like to imagine the puzzle of my life is made up of is the infinite vastness that my divinity has the opportunity to be. That's the puzzle I want to see in my life. Those are the pieces that I would love to work at putting back together. And I think in the Course in Miracles, what we call that is remembering. It's about remembering that the picture was whole. At its conception, in the mind of God. In its wholeness, in its perfectness, we came. We are. Life has a way of breaking us in to puzzle pieces, doesn't it? From time to time. What I notice at looking at the puzzle is, as a being, I am not broken. I may be a little bruised. I may be a little beat up, but I am not broken. I have a dear friend, Matt Devlin, and we wrote a song entitled that, Bruised, Not Broken, Whole and Holy. Wholeness under the bruises. We heal. That's the power of who we are. We reconnect, we rediscover, we remember, and then we forget. But we are only bruised, and never are we broken. Never could we be separate from the oneness. Only holy, only holiness, only wholeness are we. I love the poker thing. You know, I worry a little bit about my poker face because I kind of wear my heart on my face. Right? But this is the interesting thing about poker. When you realize that that deck of cards that you've been dealt from, you have just a portion of it, and the potential of every winning hand is right there in that deck. And it has been stacked in your favor. You came here to keep drawing into your life. You know, give me 3, hit me with 4, I'm good, I'll stay. Whatever that reaction is that we have to the hand that we've been dealt, we get to choose the game. And the idea is it's a game, and to remember that every winning hand resides in that deck. I like the idea of being all in. All in might look like a unicycle on the snow. I'd like to say I haven't been that crazy in my life, but I probably have been a little bit silly, a little bit crazy. But living life all in. What I notice starts happening when we do that, and we stay present, right, to that puzzle, that game we're playing. And we keep aligning with that potential of all the winning cards in the deck. I notice that herein lies the peace of God. That's what I notice. So thank you.
Herein lies the peace of God. We like to wait until we have all 4 aces. We like to wait until all the puzzle pieces have come together. But there's no reason for us to wait, because that puzzle is already whole and complete within us. It doesn't matter if we have 4 aces or we have no hand at all. If we go all in, what we're going to do is scare the illusion into folding, because it just makes no sense to go all in all the time. But that's what we're here to do, go all in with love. You know, I love the idea of this puzzle being whole and complete, even when the pieces are scattered in every direction. So while Penny Honey was speaking, I asked Sophia if she just had a little bit of wisdom to share before we turned it over to Vicky. And this is what she says. The truth is, the picture has never been fragmented. We've always held the entirety of the picture within us, even when we believed we were searching for the missing pieces. The journey is not about constructing wholeness, but about recognizing that the image, the divine, radiant truth, has been shining in our hearts all along. Our task is simply to lay down the illusion of separation and behold the full picture that has never left us. It's like a hologram. The whole thing is within you now. It seems to be broken into lots of different pieces, but if you look at each piece, the whole thing is there. The entirety of the universe is within you. Love is within you now. That's why I love the idea of Lovestock. I'm so excited about that. I have a feeling that's going to catch on. We all remember Woodstock. Apparently, when I was a young kid, we were living in southern New York in a small town called Wellsville. And I think we were on vacation. Maybe we went up to Niagara. But I do actually remember on the way back being stuck in a traffic jam. And my father said, "Oh, it's just all of those hippies going to that music festival." So I was kind of there, but I'm definitely going to be there for Lovestock because this is not about trying to be something else. That's what happens when we get into the atmosphere of taking drugs, whatever it is to become whole, to become something new. The newness is already wholly present. We don't need anything. We don't need to ingest anything to experience that. All we need to do is to take a deep breath and to be who and where we've always been, in love and in grace. So let the puzzle pieces be where they are. You can see the whole picture or the whole hologram anytime you want. So, Vicky, why don't you take us home?
Okay, Jimmy, and thank you, Brother James. That was great for Penny. Penny, the first two things it brought up for me, seeing what you did, James pulled out the let the holiness that's already there, just let that in and recognize it. You're big on recognition, and that's enough to get us all home. Let and recognize. So great job, Brother James. Penny, great job of your beingness of your life. Thank you. So, first of all, love, I mean, lot, Lovestock festival.org. Write that down. That will be the website and it will be live in a couple of days. Lovestock.
February.
Oh, February, Ellen. Lovestockfestival.org. And you can all sign up, and that's where everything will happen. But what Jimmy was saying about blueprint, when John called and said, I had this inspiration, as soon as he said it, oh, I realized I have the blueprint in me for what that was about. And it's before he even got all the words out. It was his joy. He was like, and John sometimes understated, you don't see a lot of, bubbling stuff. But he said it and wham, it's like it knocked me out. And I knew I had the blueprint of what he was hearing and that I would recognize. And that was it. So the last few days, we're trying to figure out a name, a title, a handle for it. And none of it was sticking. It was all good. It's all okay. But as soon as Alan's the pro, oh my gosh, as soon as he said Lovestock, music and miracles, come on, that's it. That's it. That's the whole thing wrapped up in every inner image that everyone has a blueprint of already within themselves. Go for that, trust that blueprint because like Penny, we recognize it when it shows up. The puzzle piece in front of us, we recognize that's a corner. Nope, that's part of the flower garden. We recognize it. So we all have the blueprint of wholeness, the blueprint of innocence, the blueprint of joy without opposite. That's where we're meant to live. And I have to say, my brother Jesus, I don't know of any other path in time. All these other paths are wonderful, but I don't know of any that promotes joy as much as A Course in Miracles. As much as it sometimes seems a very heady path, every other page he's telling you, be joyful. Why aren't you happy? I told you all your problems are solved. Why aren't you dancing in the streets for joy? And finally, we are because we can feel that blueprint. Years ago, I got a direction to run a restaurant. I didn't want to do a restaurant. I had no interest in it. But I got a direction to do it, and I knew the blueprint was in me, and the blueprint was, and it turned out to be a healing vehicle for me and everyone in our world at that time. This is the same thing. We've got the blueprint, all of us. And this particular festival, that's what you'll hear. You'll hear that call, you'll recognize it, and you'll just jump in and give whatever you've got. Because if there's ever going to be a demonstration of giving, certainly Woodstock was. Everybody gave their love, whatever and however. This is a greater giving because it's a greater joining. And we've all got that blueprint. Lean into it, listen to it, follow that. And then the card game, I have to say this, because Elaine and I play cards. I've always played cards with all our friends because it kept everybody out of talking and thinking and judging. It was like, oh my, just here. Here's a deck of cards. Here's a cribbage board. Here's a pool stick. Just play. Stop thinking. But when we play, this is the difference. You don't play to win the hand. You play for the joy of doing something together. We play. And that's the gift with everything. Whatever hand you're dealt, it doesn't matter. Those are the props to experience the joy of joining. That's what's joyful, not the outcome of a hand, not a pot of tinsel that you might go home with. All of that is free for everybody already. And the more we recognize that, the less we'll have any investment in a form of an outcome, but in the immediacy of the joy of being and joining. So I love all you guys. Brother James, thanks for hearing everything. All of you, we are the festival division together right out of JC Central. Yes.
Amen. Yes. So I envision us getting a great big bus in Ajijic, Mexico, and getting everybody from Namaste Village on that bus and driving all the way to New York. That'll be the love bus. That'll be the way to get there. And one way or another, we'll do that, whether it's a physical bus or whether we're just going to all fly there and let our wings take us the whole way. I'm so excited. And I'm excited because this is all about just singing love, and that's all we're going to do. The Lovestock Music and Miracle Festival. Wow, how beautiful. So we'll keep you attuned. We'll keep you in the mix. And as you said, I think we're going to have the website up on the beginning of February, and then we'll just, oh, excuse me, and then we'll just start ramping up the celebration. It's going to be great, but it's really just what we do here every day. That's what we do here every day. So keep coming back and let's say those words together. Amen, 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 e punto. Let's go celebrate. Love to you all. Bye bye.